it's not going to be everything you wished it would be, and he's finding that out. And along the way, this case brings back someone into his life from the past, granddaughter of an old friend who he had rescued in my last novel. Turns out he didn't get her nearly as safe as she needed to be. She was in witness protection program. The bad guys found her, and now she's headed back to Texas to get Ed Earl's help. So this chapter is about Rhonda Mae Mutcher, who was also known as La Guerra, a real fancy cowgirl-looking gun runner who would use her good looks and style to con drug runners at a top dollar for her guns. Cortez, Colorado bored the shit out of her. Too many tree-hugging granola eaters, too much Rocky Mountain High, too many mountain bikers, hikers, and kayakers, one too many wine bars. Not enough cattle and cowboys, not enough natural-born killers. The country was stunning, though, with wide open valleys and a horizon broken by mountains and mesas. On clear nights, the sky was a black velvet blanket, cushioning a dazzling spray of stars and planets, reminding her of West Texas and Cuervo County. But it was also a haunted place, marked by the cliffside ruins of too many dead Indians whose spirits still walk the land. She felt their presence and it flipped her out. So do those quick frozen moments on the streets of Cortez when somebody stared at her too long and too hard, trying to figure out where they'd seen her before. Happened 2 days ago as she walked out of a bank. Guy standing there across the street, staring at her. High voltage, panic, 4-alarm alert. And she slowly slid her hand into a purse to touch the soothing cold of a Colt Python 357 Magnum, a carbon steel pacifier in deep dark bluing. Easy, girl. He's just a tourist. Calm down, breathe easy, walk slow, and go about your business like you don't have a care in the world, even though your heart is doing the jackhammer boogie. The feds stuck her out here in the Four Corners country after the big blow up in the West Texas desert, the one where all the major players got arrested, got away, or got dead. She testified against those who got arrested that night, as well as other drug gangs that bought stolen assault rifles, machine guns, and military bang-bangs smuggled across the Texas border by herself and her dead lover, Tommy Juan Jacob. It was the last act of La Guerra, the flashy cowgirl in the blonde wig, tight designer jeans, tall boots, and a spangly bolero jacket, who beguiled the drug gang bosses and seduced them into buying her goods for a premium price. They were high-grade goods, not junk, and she smiled and flirted till she got top dollar. Then she took the Judas package the feds put together: new town, new name, new ID, new backstory, new dead-end job, all under the ever-watchful eyes of her new best friends, the U.S. Marshal Service. This also meant the final curtain call for Rhonda Mae Mutcher, the name she was given at birth, but one she hadn't used for a very long time. She'd lived under so many different names in the past 15 years that Rhonda Mae was almost a total stranger to her, living only in a small chamber of her heart and a file cabinet tucked into the back of her brain. Memories of the woman who raised her, her grandmother Wanda Mae Mutcher, now dead, and nightmares of her father, a Dixie Mafia drug runner who paid a crooked Dallas judge to give him custody of her. My ever-loving daddy fed me coke, lewds, and speed, pimped me out to his buddies, then tried to fuck me until I jammed a cock Smith & Wesson into his ball sack. Motherfucker is still after me. Happy for the feds to make me disappear. Poof, gone. Adios. Not even a ghost, nor a trace of a Cheshire Cat's smile. Her name was Claire Doyle now, Claire Anna Doyle. After years of going by a first and middle name, Rhonda May, Rita Gale, Carla June, she was just plain Claire. Morning mirror pep talks. Repeat after me, Claire Doyle. You're from Eden, Oklahoma, DOB 79-1966. Means you're 34 now. Daddy named Charlie, Mama named Ruth. Oil field trash, high school dropout, GED and accounting certificate from Autry Technology Center. Learn it, live it, you're Claire Doyle. Says so on your social security card, your Colorado driver's license, and the title for a Russ Pock 76 Malibu Classic you nicknamed Big Russet for its sun-faded red paint. Big Russet had a thick brick of ill-gotten $100 bills tucked behind the coils of the back seat. $100 and change, rainy day money, laundered, wrapped in duct tape, held in trust by the Bank of Chevy. No interest, no passbook, no free toaster. For walk-around cash, she did the bookkeeping for a couple who owned a mom and pop office supply store, Chester Baumgartner and his wife Lucille. Call me Chet, he said. Call me Lucy. He was a retired state trooper, born and raised in Cortez. She was once a county clerk on his patrol beat. Pretty soon, Claire was handling the books for Chet and Lucy's friend, a couple of farmers, a bar owner, owners of a bookstore, a souvenir shop, and a place that proudly proclaimed we'd buy junk and sell antiques. Chet and Lucy let her bring her 2-year-old son to the store. They didn't have kids of their own, but doted on hers like he was a grandson. Oh yeah, forgot to mention that. I've got a kid, named him Charlie, after his make-believe grandfather. Couldn't name him for his real father, Armando Ruiz, the fierce and wily lieutenant with Lipan Apache blood, who protected her after the love of her life was murdered, butchered, and stuffed into a giant smoker. That would be a dead giveaway. Same reason she couldn't name him for her dead lover, Tommy Wan, which Armando wouldn't have minded since they were cousins. Didn't matter now, both men were dead. Made her feel a little less guilty about naming her son Charlie. He was a good-looking kid, with jet black hair, reddish brown skin, big dark eyes that dominated the face with sharp nose and chin. His father's son. She saw very little of herself in Charlie, but considered that a blessing. He didn't have her wolfish amber eyes, a striking feature she inherited from her mother and kept hidden behind contact lenses with a dark brown tint. She kept her hair dyed black and let it grow to shoulder length, pulling it back into a tight ponytail that accentuated her sharp facial features, giving her a stern, severe look a librarian might envy. Wire-frame cheaters dangled from a chain around her neck when they weren't perched on her nose. She wore very little makeup, some lip gloss and eyeliner, maybe. Favored loose slacks, bib overalls, jeans and oversized shirts, and tees that hid her curves. Scuffed chest and shit kickers, Danner hiking boots, a dark green parka, and a stained gray Stetson fedora completed the look that was anything but a fashion statement. She looked frumpy, almost mannish. Everything Laguerra was not. Her Fed handlers approved. What they didn't know about the laundered cash, the pistol, and another full auto bang from her gun running days wouldn't hurt them. Most days it was just her and Charlie and her circle of clients. Nights out were early dinners at Chet and Lucy's or the home of one of the clients. Maybe a dinner at one of the Mexican restaurants on Main. A weekend jaunt to the Burro Fest in Mancos, or the hot air balloon rally in the Park de Vida in Cortez, which jazzed Charlie so much he'd sleep through the next day. Bless his little heart, had a big day, had big fun. Now have your big dreams. Not me, kiddo. Can't relax. Don't sleep that much. And when I do, I dream of dead lovers and cartel killers. Charlie was a big head at Pippa's Cafe on Main, her breakfast spot. The waitresses and regulars would pick him up and walk him around while she wolfed down migas and chorizo for breakfast, washing it down with a big mug of Mexican coffee. Wanda, the waitress, usually filled Charlie's sippy cup with milk and brought him a small dish of scrambled eggs. He liked ketchup and pepper on his eggs and pointed to the shaker and the bottle, which made Wanda smile. Little man likes his eggs and knows what he wants on them, she said. He'll start asking for huevos ranchera next with the salsa verde and the chorizo, just like his mama. Just so long as he lays off the refried beans, he farts like a bull already. Wanda laughed, fed Charlie the last teaspoonful of eggs, then wiped his mouth and chin. She kissed the boy on the head, ruffled his hair, then winked at Claire. Gotta scoot, gotta serve them coots at the back table. Thanks for feeding him. Highlight of my day. Claire scooped up Charlie, cradled him against her right hip, and felt him wrap his arms around her neck. She left a 10 spot on the table for Wanda to pick up and slung her purse over her left shoulder. When she looked up to start heading for the front door, she saw a tall man with shaggy gray hair headed her way. His ruddy face lit with a smile like he'd spotted a long-lost friend. He was big across the shoulders and chest, with biceps that stretched the sleeves of his denim jacket. Muscles that came from swinging a sledgehammer, cracking rocks, or pumping iron in the prison yard with nothing but time and sweat to lose. Narrow hips with long, thin legs gave him the out-of-kilter look of a beer barrel on toothpicks. She stood to the side, giving him room to pass, hoping that smile was meant for somebody else. No such luck. He stopped, barring her way. His smile still bright, but his blue eyes narrowed, cold, and locked on her face. Good to see you again, Rita. Been a while. Let me buy you a cup of coffee. She felt a blade of ice knife through her heart. Rita was the everyday name she used in Texas when she wasn't prancing around as the gun-toting hustler La Guerra. I don't know you, mister, and my name's not Rita. Sure it is, Rita, and you've got a beautiful kid now. Didn't have that down in Texas. Is Tommy Wan the father? He leaned toward her, close enough for the stench of stale cigarettes and coffee to roll into her face. She got a glimpse of an SS lightning rune tattoo on his neck. He gripped her left arm hard and tight, trying to steer her back to the table she just left. Let go of me, right now, motherfucker. Loud and brassy, so the whole room could hear. She turned inside of him and slammed her left heel on the divan of his nearest biker boot, above the steel toe box, right where the metatarsal bones started to rise toward the ankle joint. His smile disappeared, replaced by a red-faced grimace of pain and anger. She broke free and shuffled away, protecting Charlie by keeping her body between him and the big man. You bitch! You just broke my foot! All I wanted to do was buy you a cup of coffee for old time's sake, and you broke my foot! He was playing to the crowd starting to gather. The coots from the back table, some hard-knuckled cowboys from the counter, and Carlos, the day cook. They weren't buying what he was selling. Wanda slipped up to her side and took Charlie. Carlos leveled a sawed-off shotgun at the big man's head. You best leave while you're still breathing, pendejo. She's our friend, and we don't like you putting your paws on her. The big man raised his hands and backed away. I'm going, but this ain't over, Rita. We'll meet again, real soon. He flashed that big smile and lasered menace and hate at her with those big blue eyes. In a heartbeat, the smile disappeared. His eyes widened, and he threw his hands in front of his body as a feeble shield. Had just enough time to scream, "No!" 6 hollow point slugs from her Colt Python shut him up forever, filling the diner with a staccato roar and the smell of fresh burnt gunpowder. "Won't ever have to see you again, motherfucker." But she knew that was not true. "I'll see you in my dreams for the rest of my life."